Welcome back to MOV Movie Talk. Over here I got Carrie, not Connor.
No, not Connor.
R.I.P.
Is he gone forever?
Yeah, we killed him off.
Killed him off.
The girls are taking over the channel.
Oh shit, I'm going to jail.
I got lovely wifey to my right here. This episode we're gonna review Where the Crawdads Sing, based off the book, which we have lovely Carrie here to talk about some books to movies that are worth watching here later, and wifey's gonna talk about some documentaries that you can check out. Where the Crawdads Sing was directed by Olivia Newman, stars Daisy Edgar Jones, and a couple newcomers, guys, Taylor John Smith and Harris Dickinson, which we'll talk about how well they did in their roles here in a little bit. I'd like to get your guys' thoughts on this first.
I liked it. I mean...
All right, Connor.
I mean, I didn't read the book, though, so I can't really do a comparison in that.
And maybe we should go first on the non-book reading aspect.
Because I would say I'm having kind of a hard time keeping it as an individual entity because I'm doing so much to compare it to the book.
Yeah.
I actually had a hard time kind of rating this one.
Okay.
All of the issues that I have, I'm like, well, in the book it was this, in the book it was that. So it's kind of hard to kind of rate it as a singular thing.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like it was a cute little dark story. I told you that when I left the theater. Like, it's just like
murder is adorable.
It's super trendy right now.
It's all the rage. Everyone's doing it.
I don't know. Like, the story was interesting, whether it related to the book or not. I was invested. We did have some rather slow parts in it, sure. And definitely chick flicky. I don't mind chick flicks for the most part. I compared this to Dear John, Safe Haven style type movies. Yeah, but I thought it was overall pretty good. I don't really want to get into spoilers yet. You just liked it. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, considering I didn't read the book, so I didn't really know a whole lot about it, other than you talking about the book. Mm-hmm. Another friend of ours really liked it, and she talked about it a lot. So, I mean, I kind of knew bits and pieces of it, but I mean, as far as that goes, it was a good movie from what I saw, but I don't know what the book was like, because I never read it.
Sure.
I'm very curious though, with you reading the book. I thought Daisy was great as this character of Kaya. Mm-hmm. I don't know if she mirrored the book at all.
Yeah, I mean, there's some other stuff that we can get into.
Spoiler wise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Crap.
I can say though, you mentioned Taylor John Smith and Harris Dickinson. They both played it really well. Yeah. They did a really good job of playing the characters for Tate and Chase.
Yeah, Tate was perfect.
Tate was amazing.
Yeah. That guy needs all the roles.
Yeah.
He was good.
Even with Harris Dickinson playing Chase's character was a douchebag. And it was like a stereotypical coming from money douchebag. And I think he played it really well.
Yeah, he was supposed to be douchey, but when he was in the parts trying to, I don't think this is a spoiler, trick her into falling for him or whatever, I think he played that well enough where he wasn't douchey for those scenes in a sense.
But it was manipulative.
Yeah, manipulative. That's the word I was
so I
for.
mean, sure, you can look at it. If you only watch those clips, you think, oh, wow, he's really sweet to her.
Yeah.
But if you look at it as kind of an overarching theme, it was because he was manipulating her.
Yeah. No. Dang. It's hard to talk about without spoilers. This is a tough movie to get, like, work around.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot. And I think kind of how you were talking about how it's a cute but dark movie. It's two storylines happening at the exact same time. So you have this really sweet coming of age drama, and then
with
you
Tate.
have with Tate, and then a little bit of chase, and then you have this murder mystery happening at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, okay. I like how you put that. It's two storylines. I didn't even think of that.
And that's how the book is too. It goes back and forth. So I mean, you kind of watch Kaya grow up and raise herself and kind of maneuver these outside experiences and these outside relationships, and then it flashes forward to who killed this person, which that's not technically a spoiler, but we'll wait to talk about specifics on that one.
I had a couple CGI issues, but for this type of movie, it's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah.
The rest of the scenery was really pretty. It
was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Visually, it was beautiful.
Yeah, the swamp, wherever they filmed that area, was good. I don't know why they went the route of doing some green screen in some parts. I was like, that just...
Some of the birds were CGI. And, like, I kind of see it, especially with the types of birds that were in the film.
Yeah.
They're hard. I mean, I don't know.
I'm
not an animal trainer, so I don't know. But I feel like they would be kind of difficult to train for the specific thing. So I could see it. But it's interesting, though, because I feel like we've come so far with CGI. And sometimes when you see things, you're like, that's really bad.
Yeah.
It bugs me so bad.
It's so bad.
Yeah. Last thing that's non-spoiler for me, and then we can get to the spoilers for your I assume the rest of yours is spoilers.
Yeah.
Okay. I really dug the courtroom scenes for this. I thought they were done well with the lawyer, which he's a legendary actor. I can't.
Yeah.
He's in a lot of stuff.
David Straighorn.
Yeah.
He's in a lot of stuff. I don't know.
There's a lot of military stuff.
Yeah, he's in Lincoln.
The movie I associate him with is a very like underrated film in my opinion. Everybody hates it, I think, but Spiderwick Chronicles.
Oh, okay.
I love that movie.
See, I've never seen it.
I think it's good, but a lot of people kind of shit on it.
When did it come out? It was like in a weird era where I just didn't care to watch it.
Yeah, I think like maybe like 2012. I can look.
Yeah, I was in Afghanistan, so I probably wasn't thinking about it.
See.
I can get it on here if you. But no, I thought those were filmed and written really well.
Oh, 2008.
Oh wow.
Oh my!
Yikes.
I was a freshman or something.
Yeah, Freddie Highmore.
Yeah, I remember him. He's so good.
I just really like it. I think it's really underrated, but
understandable. But other than that, solid little movie.
Yeah, that was good.
I think out of we filmed 3 episodes today. It's actually my highest rated movie out of all of them. I'd say maybe on par with Nope, but it's 2 very different movies.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say
very different movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't judge like I rated Nope this and this that and then compare them because
they're
2 very different kinds of movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was very
like
different.
This one was good. Nope.
Oh.
Maybe wasn't. No,
Ruh-roh.
Not a huge fan.
Yeah, that's cool. We will give a rating so people that haven't seen it will know what we thought before. What do you give it? Movie.
Again, and it's hard to kind of rate it that way. I gave it like an 8.3.
Okay.
Oh.
No, that makes sense if it was semi-adapted well.
Yeah.
And the movie was just good, but
I was gonna say like a 7.5 out of 10.
7.5. Well, of course, I'm the lowest. I had it 7.1, 7.2, right on par with Nope, like I said, but for different reasons.
Right.
I actually think I enjoyed this more. That's saying something. I'm glad Connor's not here because I don't want to hear this about that.
We killed him off, so it's fine.
You're right. Yeah,
we killed him.
Yeah, we killed him because of this.
He didn't do his homework. He's done.
Yeah. He couldn't watch it if anybody was wondering.
No, he chose not to.
And then we killed him for it. But yeah, so average out high 7 probably.
Yeah.
If you guys want to check out this little movie, you probably already have, because most people saw it opening weekend. Our theater was packed.
Yeah, it was full.
It's awesome. So we're gonna get into spoilers.
That creepy bitch over there probably did it.
Let's hear about this comparison now.
Okey-doke. So I think overall it did a really good job kind of telling the same story. I was really concerned when the trailer came out because it made it look like a thriller.
Yeah.
And the book was not a thriller.
Whatsoever?
No, I mean, how we were talking about how the movie was pretty much two stories at the same time. That's exactly what it was. It was this gorgeous, like, beautiful coming of age story, watching this girl raise herself by herself, like, in the middle of nowhere in North Carolina. And then you also have this murder that happens.
Yeah. Murder or suicide.
Sure. Yeah, murder or suicide.
Yeah.
Spoilers. But no, I just thought it was really beautiful. And honestly, how beautiful the coming of age story was, I felt kind of overshadowed the fact that it was a murder mystery. A whodunit, as, like, if you will. And it was kind of, when I saw the trailer, I was like, man, this looks like she is on the run from the law. And that's just not what I got from it. And I asked a lot of other people, and they also agreed that that's not what they got from it. So watching it, I was actually really happy that it wasn't as much as a thriller as the preview made it seem like it was going to be. But with that said, one of the issues I had with the film in comparison to the book was that opening scene where they find, again, we're into spoilers, so I'm not even gonna touch that. Where they find Chase's body.
Yeah.
They immediately go after her, and she's automatically running from the cops.
Yeah.
To me, that implied guilt immediately, and I think it ruined the ending. Because I knew how it ended. Okay. So it's kind of hard for me to judge because I'm like, oh, well, you just gave it away.
So you watched the whole movie already knowing.
Yeah.
Unlike us, I was invested.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, did she actually do it? Did she not?
And it was unfortunate for me watching it because, like I said, I feel like that kind of implied guilt really early on. Where they didn't set up why she was running from the police officers. She was 6. I was wrong when I told you guys that they made her older in the movie. She was 6 in the book when it started. Okay. Her entire family left, and then...
Comment on that.
Yeah.
Why in the world didn't the mom take her kids with her?
Just
insanity?
Yeah.
Because of the husband? Yeah. Which... Great scenes in this movie.
Oh, yeah, and I cannot remember that man's name, but when he walked out, the guy who plays the dad, Garrett,
I love him.
When he walked out, I said, of course he is. It's like, because he played the character perfectly, because that's the character he plays in everything.
Yeah, really.
Garrett Dillahunt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's good in a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah. So she, I guess, the way it's written is that she just was overcome with depression, like her husband was beating her daily.
Yeah.
And she just took the kids and
she didn't take the kids.
Oh, that's what sorry.
She just left straight. But, I don't know. I guess that bugged me a little bit, obviously, but that's writing. I mean,
oh yeah. Right. Yeah. And it's hard too, because we're all pretty aware of like mental health and stuff like that. So it's hard to judge in that situation. I couldn't imagine ever leaving.
That's what I was about to say. I couldn't put myself in that shoe.
But we've never been in that position.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's tough. But yeah, so, her mom leaves and then the kids leave and then the dad leaves and never comes back, and which is fine.
Actually, in the movie, they didn't say that he left. They made it seem like he's dead. And I was like, okay. Yeah, she was just like, he was gone one day.
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, that's kind of how it happened in the book too.
Oh, okay.
He just kind of left and she just never heard, but he just never came back. And then she just kind of got used to being alone. But so one thing that also wasn't mentioned in the movie, so in the movie, she just goes to school one day. You know, Mabel, Jumpin's wife, says, you can get a free meal at school. And she's like, okay, cool. I'll put on a skirt and I'll go to school.
Yeah.
That's not what happens in the book.
Oh, okay.
A truant officer comes and actually picks her up and basically scares her into going to school. Like, you have to go to school. You know, you're a kid. You can get in a lot of trouble if you don't go to school, that kind of thing. So they take her to school. She gets made fun of, just like in the movie. And then she runs away, just like in the movie. And they come back the next day to get her because she obviously didn't go back.
Yeah.
And she hides. So anytime people show up, she's hiding.
Yeah.
That's why she ran from the cops, because she's
always
super
hiding.
Antisocial and hides from people of authority because she's never had a good experience.
Yeah.
And that kind of bleeds into as well the scene where she's sitting on the beach drawing and Chase and all of his friends are playing. They were, 50 feet from each other?
Yeah.
She looked like a part of the group and just kind of like sat off to the side to draw. That did not happen. She was hiding the entire time. She was watching them from behind the trees.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I feel like the movie made her seem a lot more social than she was in the book. She was super antisocial in the book because she didn't have anybody to talk to, and she was afraid to talk to new people except for Tate.
Yeah.
And then she just comes along and manipulates her.
Yeah. Obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
I had a question about that. Did they make her more intelligent in the movie than the books?
No.
She was supposed to be smart, just didn't have that type of education.
Yeah. So she, Tate taught her how to read.
Yeah.
And to write and do all those things, and she was just so engrossed in nature that it just kind of came naturally to her, and she understood things. So, and it helped too that was Tate's goal in life, was to be a biologist. So he had all the access to the stuff that she wanted and lived every day.
Yeah, that's great with writing. In my opinion. But what else? Sorry.
No, it's fine.
I got
any other questions.
No, I got distracted by myself.
Another thing that I thought that kind of lost in the movie was they don't discuss Kaya's actual age.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because in the book it kind of adds another layer to it. So in the scene where her and Tate are kissing and things get a little bit hot and heavy, and he stops and he said, "You can be more damaged than me." It's because she's 15.
Oh man.
He's 17 years old, getting ready to go to college, and she's 15 years old. And they don't discuss that at all.
She looks over 18.
Right.
Yeah. For sure.
And then another thing, so in the book, her and Tate are hanging out one day, and again, she's raised by herself, never been around anybody, and she starts cramping and starts her period. And he was like, you go ask, Mabel. She goes to Mabel for help, just, kind of in the thing. But he tells her, he's like, this is a very common thing that happens for all girls. And like Tate teaches her kind of through that.
That's
and tells
crazy.
her where to go.
Gosh.
But I think the reason they kept that out is Daisy Edgar Jones, yes, could play 15, 16. She could not play 12.
No.
So I think that's probably why. That's just my assumption as to why they probably kept that out. But
see, and that's something I would be perfectly okay them leaving out. Like, it would make for good part of the story.
Yeah.
With how Tate has to teach her. I think that's an interesting thing. But also, I think a lot of people... I
could see it both ways because, there's definitely kind of a stigma around discussing...
Which is weird.
Menstrual cycle. It's totally weird. But I was a little disappointed that it was left out because that created a stronger bond with Mabel and Jumpin.
I loved them, though.
Oh, they were great.
They were great in this movie.
They were great. And so it was unfortunate to me that she didn't have that one other thing tying them to these parental figures that she did not have normally.
Yeah.
Kind of also with Jumpin as well. In the book, if I remember correctly, she basically thanks him and says, "You're the only Paul I've ever really known." And that's not in the movie. And that was really unfortunate for me.
Yeah, that's sad. Because he was really good to her.
Oh, yeah.
I was really impressed because a lot of these movies with manipulative men have rape scenes.
Yeah.
I'm very glad this movie did it the way they did.
It was like in the book, too.
Yeah.
She kicks the shit out of him.
Yeah. Which was perfect to me. And obviously, some movies do it well, but like, I'm glad they did it in this movie the way they did. So, it was
good, especially considering Kaya. I mean, the fact that she stood up for herself
ruthless.
is amazing. Because she didn't know any better.
Yeah, she doesn't know. But Tate kind of told her that it was sacred or whatever.
But she had already been with Chase at that point.
Yeah.
She had already lost her virginity at that point. It was when he came back and was like, "You're not leaving me again."
No, I meant when he said this could damage you. more than me. And then she got with Chase.
That was right, but I think the fact that she stood up against herself, having already been with somebody, though, I think was kind of crazy because she very well could have been like, "Oh, this is what I'm supposed to do."
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What else you got?
I think that's about it. One big thing that I wrote too, and I think it kind of missed a layer in the twist at the end. So throughout the book, she talks about this poet that she loves. I can't remember her last name. It was Amanda something last name. I should have looked it up. But and it was these poems that she loved and all this stuff. Well, at the end, so old Tate finds it in a book, finds the necklace in a book, finds the twist. In the movie, he found it in a floorboard.
Oh.
Or not in the movie, I'm sorry. In the book, he found it in a floorboard. Because I feel like had they searched her house for stuff, they would have looked through her books, but whatever.
Yeah.
So in the book, he found it in a floorboard with poems because she had also been writing poems the entire. She was Amanda, whatever. And I think that added, I don't know, for some reason it added an extra layer of the secret life that she was, because not only was she making a ton of money by being a poet that nobody knew about, but she was also a murderer.
Yeah. Which, spoiler, I called that shit before you did.
Yeah,
and that pumps me up. Because she was like, no, it's not her, it was Tate. And I'm like,
that was the good thing with the book too, is, I mean,
they led you to think it was, she was defending him.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Tate. I thought it was going to be Jumpin' maybe, just because he was the fatherly figure.
Oh, yeah.
And just so, I don't know. Reading the book, it was hard watching the movie, obviously, because I knew what happened.
Yeah.
But I think it did a good job for people who hadn't read it.
So, question then.
Yeah.
And this is a question for any type of movie like this, did reading the book beforehand ruin your experience with the movie?
I don't think so.
No.
No, it was still a really good movie. I mean, I ranked it pretty high.
Yeah, that's high.
So I think it was fine. I think it did okay. I actually read the book twice. I reread it before I watched it this time. I read it last year. Just to kind of refresh some things that I had forgotten. No, I think overall it was. I think it was done well.
Good.
I'm happy they didn't make it like a thriller. That it was kind of like the two separate stories and like more like coming of age kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like because a lot of people like that take on these books and want to do a movie adaptation, you kind of already assume that there's going to be like their own style or twist to it. So I feel like for people that read the book, like for them, it's almost like a new experience. Like I've read the book, but this person's probably going to change the story a little bit. And I'm interested to see where the story goes. And
that's kind of how I've tried to go into books, because typically it's easier to watch a movie these days than to read a book.
Yeah.
It takes a lot less time.
Yeah.
Correct. That's why I do a movie talk podcast.
Yeah, not a book talk podcast. But yeah, so I've watched the movie before I read the book. This one obviously, just because I didn't know it was. I only really got back into reading last year. Now time.
And she does your thing. You post about the books. She rates books.
Oh, I mean, I have a Goodreads account. I don't post them too much anymore, but I do have a Goodreads account where I do have ratings on them.
Well, if you like reading, check her out.
Yeah, luckily I can listen to audiobooks at work, so that's how
That's solid.
I've read 46 books this year, and of that I've done like 30 audiobooks alone. So 30 of those have been audiobooks because I just sit at work and I listen to it on double time.
I'm not gonna lie, I've never listened to an audiobook in my life.
I love it.
Really?
Yeah. Some things are hard though. I tried listening to a book last week and the person reading it was terrible. I'll just expose myself. I wanted to read the 50 Shades of Grey books again. The reader was awful. It was terrible.
Were they a hilljack?
No, she was reading it. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. It was terrible. I'm like, I'm not about to listen to her read these scenes because it's going to be awful.
Oh, man.
So I've stopped actually quite a few books this year because I didn't like who was reading it. But yeah, so a lot of times I would watch the movie before I read the book, which helps me. I visualize everything. So if you can give me a cast that I can visualize while I'm reading, that's going to help me a lot because I don't have to do the work.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And I can hear the voices too, like reading the Harry Potter series.
Right.
I've watched those a million times, so I know exactly how these lines are said.
Right.
I like to look at them as the same story told by two different people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
But watching the movie helps because, like I said, you don't have to imagine what they sound like or figure out what they look like. It's already done for you.
Yeah.
It's lazy.
Well, I think that'll conclude our Crawdads.
Cool.
If you have nothing else,
No, that's it.
That will segue into your other books adapted into movies that I'm excited to hear about because there's some I didn't know were books.
Yeah. I only have a couple. As tradition on this podcast, there's honorable mention.
Yes.
The Hunger Games trilogy, actually soon to be a 4-set because they have a prequel. Started listening to it.
Tyrion got casted.
Really?
As the main, person.
Oh, that's weird. Because the main
not main, young character. The main, director or...
Oh, okay. Because the main character of this is President Snow. So I was really confused.
It's his,
the person... So the president at the time in the past, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
He's important.
Oh.
Should I... You go ahead. I'm not looking at it. You keep going.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, I reread the Hunger Games books this year. I started to read Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes. Wasn't really into it. I'll probably try it again before the movie because we have, before it comes out because it's November of next year. But I'm interested to see where it goes. Just because, like I said, President Snow from the trilogy is the main character, and he's actually a mentor for a tribute in this prequel, preparing her for the Hunger Games.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see where that goes. I'm interested to see the movie. I think it'd be really cool. But so that's an honorable mention. They did a pretty good job, I think. It's interesting because the second book is my favorite. The second movie is my favorite. The third book wasn't as good. The third and fourth films weren't as good in my opinion.
I hated Mockingbird, to be completely fair with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yikes.
No, they were okay. The books I think were better than the movies, but they weren't as good. The first one's a classic. It's always gonna be a classic.
Yeah. I actually did read Hunger Games, the first one.
It's a good, solid story. Yeah. And then Catching Fire. I don't know. I think that one's so good. Yeah. I think the plot's really cool. I'm excited to see the prequel.
Dinklage is playing Casca Highbottom.
Okay, I don't recognize that name.
Okay.
I literally only got maybe 2 chapters in.
My bad. Okay.
All right. Sometimes when I'm working, I can't pay attention to the book.
That's fine. That's okay.
Other honorable mention, it would be a shame if I didn't mention the Harry Potter series.
Oh,
yes.
Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm.
I'm obsessed. I love the Harry Potter series.
How many times have you read them?
Only twice. I've really only read them twice. Yeah, I read them as a kid, obviously, as they came out. I actually started the first one and stopped because I didn't like it when I was a kid. And then I started watching the movies, and I think Goblet of Fire came out, and I was like, I'm going to give these a try. And now it's part of my personality.
Correct. Are you a Hufflepuff?
No, I'm a Ravenclaw.
Ah.
Yeah.
You're a Hufflepuff.
Yes. Remember the cup thing?
I remember.
Yes.
The cup ordeal.
Yes.
2021.
Yeah. Yeah. Oops.
Yeah. So, I actually had a friend, I told him I was a Ravenclaw, and he's like, you don't see a lot of people who proudly announce that they're Ravenclaws. I was like, well, hi.
It's me.
It's me. But yeah, so I hate it because I really don't want to keep giving my money to the author, but
give us more
they
Harry
have a
Potter.
chokehold on me.
I know.
The Harry Potter series.
Yeah.
And the Legos.
It's so good.
I love
the
Harry
games
Potter
are fun.
But no, I reread the series last year. I think I'm going to start reading it every few years, just kind of
refresh.
Yeah, refresh. I think next time I read it, I'm going to get Post-it notes or something and mark all the differences. I think the last book's going to be this thick from all the paper that I shove into it, because the differences between the books and the movies towards the end, it just gets worse and worse.
Really?
Yeah. There's a lot
See,
of
I've only read them before the movies, so
Gotcha.
I don't know.
I encourage you to maybe read them again.
Oh, reading is fun.
Yeah, it is.
I just struggle. I don't know.
I get it.
I love it. I love the Harry Potter books, though.
Yeah.
They're
solid.
Way better than the movies.
Yes.
Especially Goblet of Fire.
Yes.
That was one of my favorite books.
There's a lot of things. So I love more tender moments. I love more dramatic moments. And there was a lot in the last book that I think was missing.
Yeah.
Lupin.
She left out a lot of deaths.
Yeah. Well, she left out on a bunch of them, and she didn't touch on, she mentioned, well, it's not really a spoiler. They've been out forever.
If you haven't seen Harry Potter,
Harry Potter,
you don't care about life.
No, I'm just kidding. Everybody can make their own choices.
False.
We're gonna have a conversation and we'll watch them all together. But so Lupin and Tonks's death broke me in the books because that was
because of the baby.
Yes, that was the thing that actually really pissed me off.
They didn't even talk about it.
That moment when Lupin asks Harry Potter asks Harry to be the godfather, I actually cried reading that because that is so sweet. Teddy doesn't exist in the movies.
No,
doesn't exist at all.
Not at all.
He's in the epilogue.
You don't even know.
Yeah, he's in the epilogue of the last book. The 19 years later, they talk about Teddy getting on the train because Harry's basically his dad now. Yeah. And that's just not talked about, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, that was such an emotional part of the books. I don't understand.
Yeah, no, it was solid. And they didn't really, they kind of brushed over Lupin and Tonks being married. And then in the, the first part of Deathly Hallows where she's like, we have something to tell everybody. And then Mad Eye interrupts her.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember that part. And then all of a sudden, whenever Harry sees them all appear, before the thing, and he goes, what about your son? And then Lupin's like, oh, he will be told what happened to his parents or whatever he said. And I was like, huh? Like, how much time went by? Because I assumed I was like, Tonks was just like getting ready to tell everyone, Remus and I are pregnant. And then they got interrupted. And then all of a sudden, they're like, what about your son? And I'm like, when the fuck did he come in the picture? I was confused. Yeah. I was like, okay.
No, I really hate. I felt like that was a miss, a huge miss.
Yeah, because I was like, okay.
And I'll bring it up every time. Goblet of Fire, Dobby doesn't exist.
Dobby doesn't exist.
He saves their life.
Also, Winky, raise your hand if you know who Winky is, because you don't know who Winky is. She is the she gets freed. Sorry. And Hermione goes on this huge. She calls it Spew. It's like this organization to help house elves. Yeah. And that doesn't exist in the movies. And it's really upsetting because that
was definitely a Hermione thing.
It becomes her entire personality. And they free Winky because...
the creature in the Weasley's attic?
Yeah.
Yeah, not in the books or not in the movies.
Hermione's like, all house elves need to be free. So she frees Winky. Winky has an identity crisis and becomes a drunk. Because she didn't want to be free.
Okay, now that we're talking about it, maybe that should have stayed off the movie.
Anyway, that's all for honorable mentions.
All right. You have 3?
1, 2, 3, 3.5.
Okay.
First up, I have Ready Player One. The book is by Ernest Cline. Book came out. I did all kinds of homework. I have it all listed.
Good.
Book came out in 2012. Movie came out in 2018. Just a couple differences. Well, it's tough because all of the tasks are different.
Really?
Yes.
Dude.
Yeah, the race car or the driving thing, that doesn't happen.
What's in place of that?
I don't remember now. I've read 46 books.
Okay, sorry.
But no, it's the tasks in the books, because there also a lot of people don't realize there is a second one.
It's coming out
too. Oh, really?
Yeah, they're filming it.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
But the book or the tasks in the books lean more towards who Halliday was as a person rather than his interests. So the movies are a ton of pop culture, a ton of video games and movies that he liked, where in the books it was places that he went as a child and more into his, his childhood and his upbringing and how he became who he was.
Yeah.
Also, Ogden Morrow is involved the entire time in the book.
Yeah, not just
like the plot twist at the end, because that was part of the plot twist. No, he's involved the entire time. He's like a huge presence online. He has the Dancing Globe or the Distracting Globe or whatever, the dance club that they go to. That's like his. And he has like this giant party. That's why they go. He has this big party. And then it's funny when it gets rated, he's like, and you guys can leave. He just like kind of dismisses the IOI team, the 6
Really?
Yeah. He's like, I'm having a party. We don't have to have this conversation. You guys can go.
Okay.
Yeah.
That wasn't in it.
Right. So I really liked the book. The audiobook was actually read by Will Wheaton, and they discuss Will Wheaton. Yes.
Wow.
They discuss Will Wheaton in the book. He's like a president of like America.
Wow.
No.
And like some other nerd or like presidents or something.
No.
But it was funny listening to him because they call it like the book calls him like an old geezer, and it was funny just listening to Will Wheaton like call himself an old geezer. The other difference, too, it starts in Oklahoma City, and then he goes to Columbus, whereas in the movie, he's always in Columbus, which I feel like that was a convenient thing. What did I just say?
That's a convenience thing. For what, though?
So, because they didn't have to film him starting in one place and
Oh,
going to
okay.
another. It was a convenience
No,
for
I
the
get-
movie for him to be there the whole
Yeah,
time.
because that movie was expensive from what I
Yeah.
read. The Spielberg.
Yeah, so, I mean, great film. I loved all the references. I don't feel like I think it's a pretty underrated film. I don't think a lot of people talk about it.
I love that movie.
It's a great
It
film.
made
I
my
liked it a
top
lot.
10, I think,
Yeah.
of that year.
Yeah,
Because
no,
it was
it's a really
entertaining.
good film. So I'm excited to see. The plot of the second one feels a little overdone. So I'm curious to see how it'll go.
Says it picks up shortly after events of the first.
Yeah, I think like a year or so after.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be good. Hopefully they stick pretty close to the material again. Really good books. I suggest everybody read them. They're good if you
I
like.
actually might read those.
Yeah, if you like sci-fi kind of thing.
I do.
The next one I have is so I did rate these. I tried to rate them. I gave the book 4 out of 5. I ranked my books out of 5.
Yeah.
Movies out of 10. 8 out of 10 for the movie. So same for both.
Solid.
Yeah. Good story. Whatever.
Entertaining.
Huh?
Entertaining.
Yeah, super entertaining. The next one I have is The Help. The book is by Catherine Stockett. Book came out in 2009. Movie came out in 2011.
That was
Really?
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really great story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
gave the
was.
book 5 out of 5. Movie got 9 out of 10. They're actually really similar.
Really? Like,
Yeah.
they don't stray away?
There's a few differences, like her mom's sickness in the book is a little bit different.
Is this the poop pie?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I
Like
like
my shit.
I like this movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a great film.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Emma Stone.
Yeah.
Bryce.
So the one thing I have listed here as like the main difference was the book is in multiple perspectives, whereas the movie is kind of
Only hers.
in Emma Stone as Skeeter in
Yeah.
her perspective, which actually I read about Viola Davis. She actually has a really big problem with this movie. So Viola Davis is a wonderful actress. I love
Absolutely.
her so much. I'm really excited for The Woman King.
Yes.
She's like
Yeah.
not super
So are you
young.
coming on for that?
I don't know.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
But no, I think she's fantastic. I think she's
I do too.
total powerhouse. She has talked about how the movie portrays it, and it's true. I mean, if you look at it this way, the movie portrays it as if Skeeter is doing a favor for the African American community. They kind of this wouldn't have happened had a white woman not come in
Oh,
Right.
no.
and done this,
Okay.
because it's not really like that in the book. Because it's in multiple perspectives. I think the fact that I don't
But-
know.
Question then.
Yeah.
I wonder if she even read the script then, if she knew that was going to happen.
I mean,
Or she would have
I-
signed on.
right. I don't know. I think maybe. I mean, we can all acknowledge that our perspectives on things have kind of changed in the last few years, and maybe
True.
when she did it, that wasn't really a thought that she had. And then looking back and kind of seeing how things in Hollywood are now, she was like, "Oh, wait a second." I can kind of see it. I mean, it's tough though, because if you look at the time, it wouldn't have happened had Skeeter not done this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The time that the movie takes place in.
Right.
60s.
Yeah. So, I mean, great film. I
Yeah.
really like it. I'm a little bummed about that perspective on it, but I can see it. Book was also really good.
That cast is loaded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Bryce Dallas Howard, Jessica Chastain, Viola Davis, Emma Stone. I know you
Octavia
don't like
Spencer.
it.
Yeah.
I love
Octavia.
Octavia Spencer.
She's great.
She's
Allison
so
Janney.
underrated.
She is.
Her and
Yes.
not Uncut Gems, Hidden Figures.
Oh,
Oh,
that is
yes.
a fantastic
I love that
film.
movie. too.
Fantastic movie.
So
Yeah, no,
good.
Octavia Spencer is fantastic. She's in
Yeah.
Coach Carter.
Sissy Spacek, isn't it?
Yep,
Alright,
Sissy
yeah.
Spacek's great.
Yep.
There's a few other people in the movie as well. Anna Camp's in it, but her character is terrible.
Yeah, I skipped over her name.
She's terrible. But yeah, no, actually, I think they did a really good job. Other than the perspectives, I think for the most part it was pretty on par. There's a few
Yeah.
differences, but there's always differences. Kind of is what it is,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But both really good.
Solid.
The next one that I have that actually pisses me off the most is
I
My
love that.
Sister's Keeper
Okay.
by Jodi Pickle.
I love the movie,
Oof.
and you hate it because of the book.
Because of the book.
Okay.
Because
so
the ending is different.
Great.
Yeah, so book came out in 2005, movie came out in 2009. I do not have a rating on this because it was way too long ago, and I couldn't find the book to read it before now.
Yeah.
Okay, for those of you who don't know.
Yeah. For those that don't know.
Parents have a daughter. She has leukemia, I believe. Her name's Kate. She has a ton of issues, obviously. super sick. They basically have a test tube baby, is Anna, played by Abigail Breslin.
Yep.
Who is a perfect match across the board for Kate. So anything Kate needs, any blood, any stem cells, any bone marrow, anything, Anna can do it, which is a terrible way to grow up.
Absolutely.
Terrible way to grow up. And the resentment is just off the charts. So in the movie, go along, she's sick. Plot twist is that the sister Kate tells Anna to kind of divorce herself from her parents so it could stop because Kate is ready to pass. Like, I'm done, you're done, let's stop this.
Yeah.
In the book, which I love this ending because I think that the movie's a little bit cliche. In the book, she gets emancipation. She is granted emancipation from her parents. She does not have to do this anymore.
Yeah.
She gets into a car accident, dies, and
Shut
all
up.
of her organs are donated to her sister.
No.
And the sister lives.
No.
I remember reading this book in my dining room. I was sitting at my table and I was reading it. And I flipped the page and I just went,
Yeah.
and my mom was in the other room and I was like, what the hell is happening? what? And then I just started crying because it's so crazy. And then her
My
dad.
mind is blown right
Yeah,
now.
no. And then her dad, I mean, I think this was true in
Tim
the
McGraw?
movie. Is
Right?
Was that? No, it's Greg Kinnear
Oh,
in the
shit.
movie. Yeah.
What am I thinking
I
of?
don't know.
All right, Greg Kinnear.
Yeah, Greg.
What am
But
I-
he's
ah.
a firefighter. He's a first responder, so he's actually first on the scene of the car
No.
crash. Yeah.
Oh.
That's
It's
emotional and
rough.
impactful.
Yeah, and I don't think that they played up the brother in the movie and the book is, I mean, he's cast to the back burner. Nobody really pays attention to him
Yeah.
because they're so
Invested.
busy with
Mhm.
Kate and Anna. He just like starts lighting fires to like get his dad's attention. Like he's an arsonist across the city because his dad will actually pay attention to him
Sweet,
because
dude.
he has to go. So that's acknowledged, I guess, at some point as well. But yeah, that's what I hated. That's why I don't like the movie, because I feel like it is so expected and so cliche. Like, oh yeah, she's sick the whole time and now she's dead. That just kind of happens. But in the book, she gets emancipated. Anna gets emancipated. She gets in a car accident and dies. And then they save the sister, and then she lives.
And then the sister's like, but I don't want to be here.
Right.
But I have no choice.
Right. But at the same time, she like was like, okay, let's just take
okay,
it.
we'll try- yeah.
Might as well use them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was so mad when I watched the movie.
Wow. That's such a
Yeah,
different
that's-
route than the.
And I think the movie
But I
would have
love
been,
the movie.
Yeah.
I think the movie would have been way more impactful though
Mhm.
had that happened.
Oh, for sure.
Oh man.
Imagine seeing that
I
for the
don't
first
know.
time on screen if you never even read the book. So you didn't even know that that was the original ending
Yeah.
to the book.
My jaw just dropped when you
Yeah.
told me that ending. That's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. So I was really disappointed.
I don't even know what to say. That's wild.
Yeah. I just think it made it
Yeah.
a huge cliche.
Huh.
Wow.
Last one that I have is Heartstopper. It's a graphic novel by Alice Oseman. It is a series on Netflix right now.
Really?
They just released the first season. It is gorgeous. 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10. It is so good.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Heartstopper.
yes. So it is so Alice Oseman, the author of the graphic novels, is actually working, I believe, with Netflix to make this happen. Right now it is 4 volumes for the graphic novel. 5th one is coming out, and that's going to be the last one. It's the 5th and final.
Huh. So they're gonna do 5 seasons, you think?
I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
I believe the first one ended where the first
Book ended.
volume ended. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Super true to the story. Super great. It's this cute little like LGBT story.
I was gonna say it looks colorful.
Yes. Charlie and Nick. Charlie is an openly gay teenager. Nick is like captain of the rugby team, and they just have like this friendship.
British.
Yes. Yeah. So year 11, year 12,
Yeah.
like kind of thing. We're used to 11th grade and 12th
Yeah,
grade.
yeah,
So
yeah.
reading year 11 is just funny. But
Yeah.
it does a really good job. This cast is amazing. The guy who plays Nick, because it's a friendship that kind of buds into more. That's not a huge spoiler.
Yeah.
The kid who plays Nick, who's the captain of the rugby team, like, I don't know, you think of teenage boys in this time kissing other teenage boys, you'd think that there would be some like hesitance. The chemistry on this set is fantastic. Like, these people do so well together. It
Yeah.
is so good. And
So
now
it's
I see-
like it doesn't feel awkward or forced.
yeah, it's not like,
Okay.
oh, there's a couple of straight kids just kissing around, like, whatever. No,
Yeah.
it feels real. It feels like it's beautiful.
Good.
It is so good. It has a ton of representation as well. There's a trans character.
That the African American chick guy. Sorry.
Girl.
Whichever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw.
Her storyline.
I'm looking at pictures.
Yeah, her storyline is really interesting as well. Elle is her name on the show, because she starts actually because it takes place over 2 separate schools because they're split. It's like a boys' school and a girls' school. So Elle started at the boys' school and then actually had to transfer to the girls' school because she's a girl. And it kind of deals with that. There's a ton of stuff. It deals with homophobia. It deals with body dysmorphia. Deals with eating disorders. All kinds of stuff.
Wow.
It's a really good way to shed light on.
Does it do better than 13 Reasons Why? Because I felt like they pushed that like really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was really graphic.
Yeah.
13 Reasons was so graphic.
Very graphic.
Yeah. This one's not graphic.
Okay. It's just like, hey, this is the thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's definitely some strong homophobia, but I think they do it in a way that's not like
in everyday media. But...
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. But no, very good. I highly suggest it. It's on Netflix. It's fantastic.
Awesome.
It's so cute. And then the cast is like all out and about at like different pride parades, like flipping off protesters. And I love it.
That's always fun.
It's so cute. But that's all I have. Sorry, I talked forever.
No, this is good. We need that perspective every now and then. I definitely don't read enough books.
Yeah, for those that don't read the books, like it's interesting to see the difference in like the whole Winky thing.
Yeah.
Never knew.
There's so much more.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
there's way more.
It's
Even
crazy.
I know this. The My Sister's Keeper thing blew my mind.
Yeah, that's you had told me that before, so I already knew that.
I did not, and that was a good live reaction. Awesome. Appreciate you.
Anytime.
But all right. So babe, you got some documentaries you want to throw out there for the world to watch?
Yeah. Actually,
Cam the man is getting excited.
A lot of these are from, well, I have 5 total.
Yeah.
3 of the 5 are on Netflix.
Okay. Do you know where the other 2 are?
Yeah, I looked it up.
Okay.
The other 2 I originally watched on Netflix, but they're not on there anymore, like because it's been a couple years ago that I watched these. But the other ones are still on there. I had like a lot of documentaries. Once I went through the list and realized there's a lot more that I had seen I'd forgot about, but I narrowed it down to 5 that I think kind of really stuck with me more so. And they were just interesting. The first one, Soaked in Bleach. It's about Kurt Cobain. I told him about it. I was home alone, I think, and I just found it and watched it, and he came home and I was like, oh, you have to watch this. I know exactly what happened to him, and it was totally her. Like, yeah. Our Halloween costume that year was inspired by this documentary. So
2015
is when it came. Yeah. So it's been a couple years ago that I watched it, but it's on Peacock for free, and if you have Amazon Prime, it's on there for free. But it just does a really good job at like
explaining Kurt Cobain's suicide.
Yeah. Yes. That was not a suicide.
And there's
that's all I know.
Yes. And there's like eyewitnesses that were around the couple, like close friends that like had things to say about the relationship and whatever. And there was like an analyst or whatever you want to call them that like broke down his suicide and like all of the details about it and like explain how
physically important.
Like, no.
And with the amount of heroin in his system, they were like, there's no way he's going to be
there's enough to kill a whale or something.
Load a shotgun and it was. Yeah. Anyway, watch it. It's very informational, and I didn't really know a whole lot about that whole situation until I watched that documentary. And like, 100%, Courtney, you're canceled. Anyway,
I know. I'm gonna get in trouble.
Sued.
Podcast canceled already.
And then my second one I have, which you watched with me, Unacknowledged.
Yes.
So if you're into like aliens and UFOs and that sort of thing, this one was very, very interesting. Like watching it, me and him both were like, what? Like, I don't know. If you're a space nerd like that, you'll probably really enjoy it like we did. It's on Amazon Prime for free. I didn't see if it was listed anywhere else. I don't know if maybe YouTube, there's a way you can like watch it on there maybe.
It legit goes into details about
well, there's a guy who's the main guy who's a ufologist.
Yeah.
Like it's his whole thing. And he talks about how
I love that's a term.
I know.
Right.
It's like something ufologist, and he basically talks about like how they have all these projects where they're trying to like make contact and stuff, and then there's like
building their own UFO because they have already
technology from like apparent UFOs that have crashed landed here, and so they've taken them on and they're like studying them and stuff. Anyway, it's really, really cool. And to hear all these people, and there's like people from the government that used to work in the government that are now like, I feel like I can come out and talk about this because they can't come after me now. And there's one guy that said,
NDA has expired.
Yeah. And this guy even said that whenever he was under their like whatever, he said that the guys would show up to their house and like put like a bomb in his mailbox and all kinds of crazy stuff because he was threatening to spill information.
Stranger Things stuff right there.
Yeah.
No,
so he was
really
like, it's legit. He was like, my family was like under surveillance. Like if I would do anything, like they would come for us. So I wasn't able to talk about it. Yeah. So anyway, it's very cool, interesting. I'm very much into the whole aliens thing. I think there's something out there. I don't know what, but I believe there's UFOs and we're being surveillanced and looked at and whatever. So if you like that, Unacknowledged, check it out. The next one is on Netflix. A lot of people may have seen it because it's been advertised. Our Father.
Oh my God.
Makes me sick.
Disgusting.
Very, very disgusting. It's basically about a infertility doctor who what was the time frame?
70s.
Was it 70s?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So back
But he
then,
did it for.
Oh, he's still doing it.
He did it for
Well, maybe not now, but
if he didn't lose his license.
Well, it's now it's a state law that he can't do it.
Okay. Well then, yeah. But this infertility doctor, these women would come into his office, obviously trying to have a baby, and then he took it upon himself to give them the seed. So, and a lot of women had no idea, and then their husbands would bring in their own samples, and he would just throw their samples away and use his own sample, and so all these fathers thought that these children were blood related, and basically found out that that's not it. And then all these people live in a small area and find out that they have siblings.
Yeah,
and it just grows and grows.
It was all done within a lot of them were within a 25-mile radius or something like that.
Yeah.
Where, I don't know. It's just
the thought of that is
my biggest thing. With the internet now, we can see that infertility is a huge issue, huge issue, and the mental toll that it takes on people is insane. And the fact that these people went to this man for help. And he completely took advantage of them. And, they would get pregnant. They'd think, hey,
more of biological difficulties.
Oh, wow. This is the new Cody. What happened?
MCU movies.
Midnight whiskey.
Metal music.
Yeah.
Gators. Yeah, you need a Gators hat, and then it'd be legit.
Oh, yeah. I'm not wearing that. I'm not wearing that shit. I don't even care about sports, but I know how much flack Connor got for the cup, so I'm good. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
No, just I don't know. I think the fact these families thought that they finally got pregnant, and they finally were able to have the baby that they always wanted, and come to find out it's not even the dad's. It's this creepy, gross man who would get his sample while they were there.
Yes.
He went into his office, got what he needed, and came back and injected it into the woman. And that is filthy.
And imagine you're an adult. So you're probably in your 20s, 30s, maybe even 40s. Sure. And then you just discover that your dad is not your biological dad. The man that raised you is your dad.
Your child is not your child.
Yes. Yeah. It's
I don't know. That'd piss me off. Mm-mm. The other thing, too, that really bothered me, and this is kind of discussed at the end, there's no federal law against what he's done.
Which is insane. That's you did not consent for his... Yeah. I feel like that has to be some sort of violation. No federal law,
and it's only now become a state law because people who are part of this documentary have made it, they've fought against the state legislation to get it a law that he cannot do this anymore. But he has 95 children. And
I think it even said that it's still counting. They're still discovering more.
Just the people who have come forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's imagine you might have you might go on a date with a brother, a half brother, and you don't know it, or a half sister.
Yeah, and they talk about that too, because every time a name popped up, they were praying because they all went to school together. Basically, it was all within a 30-mile radius. So I just
awful. So so if you want to hear about that, Our Father.
I think I've got enough.
Yeah. No, it's disgusting.
Yeah, it's The next one I have is called Don't Fuck with Cats. Have you seen that one?
That sounds familiar. I don't think I watched it, but I think I've
It was kind of interesting because, so basically there's a video that gets circulated, and I believe the first video has to do with a guy torturing a cat.
That's on Netflix, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I have seen it there, but I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, so it's crazy. But there's a video where he's torturing this cat, and these like animal lover people see this video, and they take it upon themselves to figure out who the guy is, because they're like just pissed, obviously. So this like there's a couple people that like head the group, and they like turn into like internet sleuths basically.
They
and
must
then,
be millennials.
Yeah. And
we're all FBI agents.
Yeah. So they start like watching this guy's, I think it's like a YouTube channel where he's uploading these videos or something. Anyway, they start watching his like channel. He posts another video. So he just keeps posting videos of him like doing things to cats, like the worst shit you can think of. So basically what it turns into is these random people on the internet track this guy down, figure out who he is, and find out, I think, that he not only killed cats, but I think he actually murdered somebody. And they like get him arrested because of all of the like detective work that they did on the internet. Like these random group of people that just got together and were like, we're gonna hunt this motherfucker down. Yeah.
That's some big serial killer like energy right there.
Yeah. But it was interesting to see because like the people that were in the group were talking about it, and they're like, yeah, and so then on this date we noticed that there was this camera at a gas station, and we saw this guy walk in, and it's the same vicinity as blah, blah, blah. Like they legit were like deep like diving into figuring out who this guy was.
I feel like we just need to get rid of actual investigators and then employ
Right.
millennials and forensics. If we combine those two,
Mhm.
figure out every fucking case in
Yep.
the world ever.
Pretty much.
Absolutely.
Just like those detectives, they can just be the forefront, like the people that just talk in front of the new media.
Yeah.
Just give them that.
Yeah.
That's fine. And then
100%.
we'll do the real work.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly. I mean, and I forget like the time frame of like how long it took for them to officially like figure out who the guy was. It was insane. They like tracked him. Like they knew what he did like for work. Like he was a model at one point for something, and like they tracked him down to like what hotel he was staying at, and then they found like camera footage of him in an alleyway with a suitcase or something. Like it was nuts like how they were able to like find stuff out or whatever. But
I'm so non-confrontational though. I would do all that work and then just like I have flash drives for you to look at, and then you go get them. Yeah. That would make me nervous.
Yeah.
Hey, police.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it like I don't know. It was really interesting, and it was kind of cool to see like people, if you really like come together like on something, you could really make a difference. Like it's just like random people on Facebook.
That's beautiful.
I mean, really though, like imagine like you and a group of people just like figure out this thing, and like I don't know. It was just cool to see. But yeah, Netflix is where you can see it. It's still on there. I checked. But I have one more. So for anyone that's into like sort of paranormal, you're kind of intrigued by like what happens after you die or whatever. So this next one's called Surviving Death. It's on Netflix. It's still there. I saw it. I watched this like a while ago, but it's really interesting. It breaks it down. Like it talks about like mediums, and it shows that aspect of like mediums and how they work and whatever. And then there's like reincarnation. It touches on that, or like close encounters with death or whatever. So someone that like almost dies but doesn't completely die, and it talks about their aspect and like what they experienced during that time when they were about to die. And it was just really cool to hear all these different, because I mean everyone, you know, I think wonders like what happens when I die, like what am I gonna see, feel, hear, or whatever. So it's just interesting to see all these different aspects of like the actual paranormal, like seeing, and then like seeing dead people, which I have a friend,
right,
which you both know, who actually sees that stuff like on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And she talks about it, and the stuff that she knows, like the details, and like it's, yeah, I totally believe in that stuff, but it's really cool to see in this documentary all these different accounts, people that have had these experiences, and like kind of the similarities between some people's experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Like they both have the same feeling, or they see the same thing, or whatever, or whenever they're encountering death. And then reincarnation is really crazy. That's the last episode, and I see why they saved it for last, because that was the one where I was like,
I need to go back and watch that one, because I started watching it, and I think I expected the whole thing to be like that,
Yeah.
or to be everybody talking about their near-death experiences,
Mhm.
and then when it was talking about the mediums and stuff, which I find incredibly interesting,
Right.
I think I got kind of bored
fell
with
off.
it.
Yeah, and it
So-
was 2 episodes, the medium
Yeah.
part. But once you get past that, I think it's like
they're uncomfortable, aren't they?
Dude, I just feel really small.
Yeah.
Yeah, like earlier when I first came on, I was just like up here like, can you see me? Got my little child peeking over a counter.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so if you're ever bored and want something semi-interesting to watch, that one was really good. I liked it a lot. And it was just interesting to hear the different stories, and the reincarnation part was like the craziest to me because there's like a kid.
That stuff creeps me out.
Yeah, like talking about like how they died in their past life, and then like there was this one kid who I guess in their past life was a movie star or something, like was in movies, and then like traced back to the family, and then talked to the family about things, and then the family confirmed like that legit happened with our family member. Yeah. Like that's real. And then the guy was like 100, like would have been like 100 or plus years old at this point if they were still living. So the kid, apparently that person's soul was in the kid, and then they go visit the family, and the daughters are like in their 60s, 70s or whatever, and the daughters are like, yeah, that really happened. That was our dad. Yeah, you know. Yeah. So it's just weird. So
I've heard stories too about that kind of stuff with like, I think the thing that creeps me out about it is that it's 3-year-olds just like playing with Lincoln Logs, and they're like, you weren't always my mommy. I had a different mommy, and then I drowned, and now you are my mommy.
Exactly.
And all these parents are just like looking at their child, not knowing how to deal with that issue now, because what do you do?
Right. Well, that's like my friend, her little brother. I mean, basically, I told his mom, like, I saw you before I was born while I was in your tummy. And he talked about a specific event in her life, and she was like, that legit happened. Like, that was a real thing. So he really did see me at that time in my life. And she didn't even know she was pregnant with him at the time. That was what's weird. Is that in that moment that he talked about, she was like, I didn't even know I was
pregnant. Kid to the church.
Yeah. So it's just, stuff like that. I've experienced things like that personally. So this documentary definitely was like one I was like, oh yeah. And then it just kind of confirmed, and also like opened my eyes to new like thoughts too. But yeah. So Surviving Death, Netflix.
Cool.
And
how are we gonna close this out?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not.
I don't know.
I'm very introverted. Cody's more of the closer, but I guess I could do it.
Well, I did say the girls are taking over the channel, so like, subscribe, share,
tell your friends.
Yeah, watch it. Like Cody said, views.
Tell your parents. Tell your friends. Tell your kids. Tell people you don't know as well. Just run out in the street like a madman.
Yeah.
What's up next? Do you know?
I just flow with it. I have no idea what the hell's going on half the time.
Another movie that they'll talk about.
Yeah.
Watch it.
And then they'll give I don't know, they do the streaming.
Yeah.
So we didn't do streaming for this one or the.
I don't know if I have.
I think we had enough to talk about without telling other movies to watch.
We were worried about storage.
Yeah.
I need to spend more money and upgrade. But
Yeah. But yeah, all right. Well, thanks for watching.
Thanks for taking over, guys.
Yeah. It was fun.
If you've stayed this long, it's been a little chaotic, but
we made it.
We'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.
Bye.